Alright, let's jump right into this video reflection. In the video by Dr. Hopkins, he explains how the idea of culture is all about context. He further explains why context is important as he gives varying definitions of what culture is, the most important one being organizational culture. He ended that list with giving the audience his perspective of what this term could mean. Organizational culture includes the questions that drive our intentions with others within the organization. Examples of these questions include: what are we comfortable asking about? Who has power and how is it used? What strategies do we use to make decisions? Dr. Hopkins then continues to give the audience a more well-known definition of organizational culture that was defined by Dr. Edgar Schein. Dr. Schein defines organizational culture to be a system of shared backgrounds, norms, values, and beliefs among members of a group. Dr. Hopkins explains the logic of Dr. Schein by giving a breakdown of how the culture of organizations can be examined on multiple levels. 3 of those levels being artifacts, espoused beliefs, and basic underlying assumptions. Artifacts are the visible parts of a campus. Think about tangible things such as buildings, structures, catalogs, academic calendars, and so forth. Non-tangible things like budgets, campus traditions, and alumni testimonies are also examples of artifacts. Espoused beliefs are what we focus on. This level encourages institutions to examine the organization's philosophy or vision. In this case, think about mission statements and how every institution uses it as a tool for appealing to incoming students and employees. The last level includes basic underlying assumptions. These are the deeply held beliefs and values of an organization that drives actions, thoughts, and perceptions. Dr. Hopkins noted that underlying assumptions can be readily explored due to shared learning. However, with outside research, I would like to know that these assumptions can be hard to challenge within organizations due to campus members being content with the way that things are, and they tend to be closed-minded to looking below the surface to assess any real potential issues. Shifting to other findings within the course material, the common thing that I noticed across the board was the various perspectives regarding the role that organizational culture plays within higher education. I believe that the reason for these variations is tied to the overall nature of organizational culture and the fluidity that it demands. For example, Tierney argued that components such as environment, mission, socialization, information, strategy, and leadership all play a part in making the organizational culture unique between institutions. He also took great care in explaining how an organization's culture is reflected in what is done, how it is done, and who is involved in the decision-making process. The takeaway that I got from this was that the cooperation and productivity of the administration was crucial in whether the culture of a campus thrived or failed. In contrast, Kinsey and Arcellus made the argument that the focus of organizational culture should be student-centered, because the students themselves bring their own life experience onto the campus, which in turn influences the campus culture. They further claim that understanding the nature of the campus environment and institutional context is what makes up the bread and butter of the campus culture. Other components that we were asked to consider is how concepts such as robust design, shared governance, horizontal structure, and loose coupling can impact organizational culture and change at a university. From my understanding, institutions prefer to have those components more tightly coupled or relative to their overall goals, and not loosely coupled, as in being random and disconnected from their vision. I found shared governance and horizontal structuring to be the most interesting concepts because I believe that they require a certain level of communication and teamwork to promote autonomy and accountability within the institution itself. Lastly, the class is asked why we as administrators should look at campuses in terms of culture. I think that as administrators, we have to consider how the livelihood of our institutions can be influenced by numerous factors and be open-minded to finding solutions and underlying issues. Observation, communication, and unity are key to building those foundations for an effective organizational culture. An effective organizational culture cultivates a well-rounded campus environment. Thank you for listening to my reflection. I know that was a lot, and I hope you enjoyed.